Oh, gotta fix that teleprompter. Hey there, welcome back, guys. In today's video, we're gonna be working on, for those of you who don't know, my last video I was telling you guys how this thing broke, and it's the USB connector to the Pavo Pico. It was working well. I had jerry-rigged it so that it would hold, but now it's just come completely off. And that's what happens when you pull it in, take it out, pull it in, take it out, pull it in, and eventually this will work. Won't work anymore. I have this little kit here and I'll walk you through on how to actually fix this so that you can get things up and running. I'm surprised they don't sell this as a replacement part with the BetaFPV on their website. But without any further ado, let's get started. I'm going to walk you through it, and if there's a better way to do this, great, please do share. In the meantime, this works, so I'm gonna walk you guys through it so that you can go back to changing your rates or updating your firmware or flashing your drive or doing whatever it is that you do when using this with the Pavo Pico. All right, let's get started. Okay, so this is the kit here. I got on Amazon, in case you're wondering. Not sure if you can see it, but there it is. It's the Pre-Crimped cable, 6 colors, which is great. 15 cm. I guess that's the the width of the wires, I believe, probably. Let's check it out. Probably. Sometimes you never know. Let's see. We'll just close this on it. What is this set to? Oh, well, this is set to milliliters. I have millimeters, inches, and feet on here, so I don't have centimeters, but this is actually, oh wow, 0.50. Let's see, Alexa, what's 50 millimeters converted to centimeters?
50 millimeters is 5 centimeters.
No, it's definitely not. Anyway, I'm not sure what the cm is. All right, so anyway, on that note, don't go by that. All right, and if Alexa says it, then that's what it is. All right, so I'm gonna pick some colors. I'm definitely gonna pick yellow, right? I'm gonna pick orange. I guess orange can be the red. Looks like red, it's hard to tell. And then I'm going to pick green and blue, just so things don't get confusing. Oh wow, that green one looks a little bent. I definitely don't want to, I guess it's fine. And let's see what other colors we got. What did it say? 6 colors and blue. Okay. And blue. And inside this kit actually comes with a tweezers. A nice one too. Really nice. It's this right here. I have so many tweezers it's hard to know which one came with what, but I believe it is that one. Actually, no, it's not. It's this one. Yeah, there we go. The one with like some weird marking on it. So this is the tweezers that came with it. It comes buried in the bottom. All right, without. And we need the 4. See the one that says 4SH1.0? It's the one with 4P. Okay. So we're gonna use 2. Oh, it's a bummer because you don't get that many. I have a few left. So, make sure you try and get it right the first time. Okay? Oh, and you know what? Looks like we have some heat shrink, so we're gonna use 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. We'll do each side. Okay. I'm just gonna put this on the side. We don't need it anymore. Little blowtorch thingy. This was actually, I thought it would be really cool to have a soldering iron like this many years ago. It's actually it's more like a blowtorch. You're gonna burn everything. It's better to have one where you can control the temperature. It's a bummer. It's a gimmick. Don't buy it. All right, so this is this here, right? And what you're gonna do is you're gonna flip it over. See how and I'm gonna zoom in a bit so you guys can see. Okay, because you really want to see. Let's say that's about right. So you see that? And we're gonna move this on. What color's on the bummer. I guess the bigger one has another color. All right, so look, we have ground, D minus, D plus, 5 volt, okay? So what you want to do is you want to lay this out, right? So the wires, see that? You're going to lay that out like that. It doesn't have to be on this. This was actually for clay back in the day. And then you're going to put this with it, copy it, put that like that. And then you're going to take the other one and put that like that, so that you know you don't mess up the wires, okay? So we're going to start with the 5 volt. See that? And there are these little prong thingies that look like a clip that goes up that's going to protrude out. So that's how you know how to put it in, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to start with this side right here. And of course, remember the protruding part up, the part that looks like it clips out. You might need glasses to help you. If you do, actually, I think I might for sure. Yeah, I can't see anything. Give me a second. Which are these right here. I'll leave a link to these in the description. And it comes with many lenses, so you can adjust it. Okay. So on that note, yeah, so much better. So now you just find the part and you put it in. Wow, this thing is so small. Who makes these? Can you imagine a person's job and the boss is like, all right, I need 7 of these wires today. All right, so now we just want to make sure the up part is up. See, I wasn't even putting it in the right hole. And just make sure, hold on. Because you only get one chance. If you put it in and you take it out, it's not going to work anymore. Yep. Actually, no. That would be... It's in reverse. Hold on, let me just make sure. Yeah, so you see? So you want to do... All right, I see how it's going in. So the 5 volt goes first, okay? So lay it out that way, because you don't want it to be in when you're doing it. Otherwise, it's not going to lock correctly. It will be wrong. Okay, so 5 volt is at the top, okay? So I'm just going to push it in. And then you use the tweezers that they sent. It's buried in the bottom. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to push it in. See that? And then just tug it a little bit. And then just run this right through it, because you're going to heat sink it. All right. Like that. But don't put it on all the way, because you want to leave room for the wire to bend a little bit inside the Pavo Pico if you have the version 1. Version 2, it doesn't matter. You could probably go up all the way. But for version 1, okay, about halfway. All right. And then what you want to do is you want to either get a heat gun. I can't find the one that I have, but this will work just as good. And then, heat sink it. Okay. That's gonna... And then what you do is, you could either use helping hands, but my helping hands are over there. Ideally, helping hands would work well for this. And then shrink it. And then turn it over. And then shrink wrap. Heat sink it. See that? That's one wire. And in this case, I gotta shut it off. Because this... Can you imagine a soldering iron like this? At first, I was like, oh, wow, that's so cool. You freaking burn everything. By the time everything's soldered together. All right, so we're going to use blue for the second one. And it's good to use the color code, because this way you'll know which one is which, right, when you're putting everything back together. When you're plugging it in. Because when you're doing the other side, basically. You're like, oh, wait, which one is which? Because I don't know. But now you do, because you have the colors, and you can't go wrong with the colors in the hole. And you can't, there's only one way to put it in. And then you put it in, again, just push it in, and then tug it, make sure it's in there. And we have here, And then, because what we're going to do is when we're done, we're going to wrap them to make it even stronger. You know, but if you have version 1, you can run it all the way to the top, because it needs to be flexible to go into the Pavo Pico, unfortunately. All right, so then we have that. So now we're going to do green. Green, and green will be in the middle, or basically the third one. And I think I messed up because, well, not really messed up, but the last one should be black, you know, just to keep things universal. But as you can see, what we gotta do is we can do that last. But I'm gonna change the color because we want black, you know, universal. Let's keep it universal. Black is ground. But it can get tricky when you get to 6 colors, to be honest with you. And I guess not really, because there are 6 colors, right? So it can't get too tricky. All right, so now I'm going to put this one in. Black is ground. And just push it in. Right, see that? And then you just use your tweezers. Push it in. And now, yeah, nice. And you should see all the metal parts protruding out, because that's what's gonna make your connection. Okay, and now what we're gonna do is we're going to heat sink the other two. Okay, so we're just going to take the blue, all right, and just run the heat sink right through. It, you know, it's really tedious, but you know, just, you got to do what you got to do. So for this, I could use a piece of clay here so that the wires don't get, see, just like that. And then let these go this way they match, and leave that like that. I'm just going to turn on the soldering iron, blowtorch soldering iron. Amazing invention. It's like the sweater dress. It's crap, but it works. But it's not, I wouldn't wear it to a party. There we go. And the reason why I shut it off, because it radiates so much heat, it's freaking insane. Maybe that like that. That, it's just impossible. I'd say right about there. Oh, you can't see. You're like, wait, I can't see. So basically, what I was doing was applying heat and then turning it over. See that? I guess I could put this down on the table, right? You just got to be tricky. It has a little stand. Actually, I'm going to put it on the floor because the floor is ceramic, which works really well. Okay, so that one's there. So if it falls, it'll just, might leave a stain. I might have to just find a way to take the burn stain out, but rather than on this, I don't know if that will work. All right, so now we're going to do the green. Okay, nice. That one fit. And remember, the reason why I'm not going up all the way is because this is Pavo Pico version 1, and it needs to bend a little bit to go in. It can't be too stiff. It, you know, might work. No, it won't work because it's the heat sink, so the heat sink stiffens up when you melt it. Now I gotta go get my blowtorch. Okay. I mean, you could use the helping hands or the clay, whichever works best for you. Kind of like the clay because it just holds it the way you like. Nice, so that worked on that one. Just gonna put this soldering iron blowtorch down, and we got one more. We only have a few more left. Again, now we got the ground. Ground will work well. And voila, recording this on the Osmo Action. Hopefully I finish this in time because, as you know and seen my last video, Osmo Action overheats, and you will be considered lucky if your action camera recorded your, oh wow, hold on, your whole video. It's just limited. That's a little high, a little lower. You just want them to be somewhat uniform. Doesn't have to be. Just wanted to heat sink. Nice. All right. So now we got that. We're going to shut off this. Okay. So we got one side done. See that? Voila. Then when you pull it, you want to pull it from there. You probably could go up higher. Nah, because it's stiff. And if any of you guys know, it's really hard to get it out. So imagine the stiffness. But remember, if you have version 2, just run the heat sink all the way up, right? And then you're golden. You just want to create some sort of strength, because these wires, as you know, here's a yellow one. I'll spare one. The yellow ones can break really easily. Watch. See? So you can imagine pulling it in, taking it out, pulling it in, taking it out, and eventually you wind up with scrap. So we're just trying to reinforce it, but we're going to twist them when we're done. Actually, we can twist them now, right? Because it doesn't really matter, because we're going to bind it and make it stronger by braiding it. And if you have another, if you have a thicker heat sink, something like this, right, then you can just run all the wires through and you don't have to do them individually. Or maybe there's a better way, right? So I'm just going to braid them. If you know how to braid. I mean, I'm just assuming I know how to braid, but it's really tricky. Kind of reminds me of the days in camp when you had lanyard, right? And everyone would make a bracelet. And someone took washers and started selling them. And then everyone started wearing washers. And then someone had another idea, was like, hey, what if we sold a green washer and a red washer and a blue washer and this washer? And then next thing you know, everyone's wearing washers in the 80s, which is really cool. So what was started out as a plumbing necessity, turned out to be a fashion statement. It's amazing. Hey, maybe people will wear their FPV cables. All right. Anyway, my braiding is not working out, but I will try to do the best I can. And remember, I have to leave some room for it to be open because I want to heat sink, right? So my braiding didn't work out, but I'm going to start off with copying the wires. So red, and they're always going to be the same, right? So red is always going to be on the red side, and you just want to make sure. All right, so now we have here. See that? So red is there. And remember, if you mess up, you're going to have to, let me just double check. Oops. Red, yep, red is there. If you mess up, that's it. You got to start over again. Oh, I almost messed up. I forgot the heat sink. Here's red. Remember, all this is happening in real time. There's no edit, so this is about how long as it's going to take. Unless BetaFPV starts selling these on their website. I know DJI sells the magnet replacement for their mic. It's $4, but right now they're on Amazon for $20, which is a bummer. There's no way I'm paying $20 for a magnet when but they're out. They don't have any. So there we go. There's that. Tug it a little bit. And this one's a little bit different because we're going to have to heat sink each one as we put them in, because we're not going to have that space, the space between us. If this thing starts, just trying to see if I had my soldering iron, that would work well too. Let's see, turn this up. Yep, there we go. Almost. There's light. The fluid is in there. Let me start again. Well, so much for that. And that's why. Oh, there we go. I got it. You could always go all the way with one, and then you just know that one side's for the drone and one side's for the USB cable, right? So this will be the, let's say, yeah, why not that? This way you know you're not always pulling it in and taking it out in one particular area. So for the sake of the USB cable, we're going to, but I guess it won't, I'll just leave it like that. Okay? And I'll just turn this around because it doesn't matter now, since we already have things the way they should be. Except for the wires, right? You want to make sure they don't get burned. Nice. And then I think I'll just lower the heat so that I don't have trouble starting it like I did. Alright, so now I'm just going to lower the heat on this just so it stays warm. I don't even know what temperature that is. It's like cooking temp. Could probably cook something with it. Alright, so after the red comes blue. Or whatever color you choose. So, you know, these are the colors I choose. There's no rhyme or reason. You don't have to do this the way I'm doing it. You can. I just chose these colors because they seem to work really well. Oh, again, I almost forgot my heat sink. It's late. Long day. I'm sure we all have long days, and when you come home after a long day of work, you're like, I just gotta do my drone. I just want to do my drone. And, you know, either you have other obligations with families and friends, and, you know, it just makes it challenging. But when you find time, it's usually when everybody goes to bed, and then you wind up like Uncle Fester in the basement, whether it's testing your rates or building something or fixing something. In this case, it's fixing something, and this will take a little bit of time, unfortunately, because it's not going to be as streamlined and fluid as you think. And the only trouble I see with this is that, not really, but you have to separate them and then somehow heat sink them, right? So that they don't pop out. Now I turn up the heat. And then I wonder if the soldering iron will work. Nah. You get more heat coming out from the other side. But I don't want them to touch. I don't want to give any more heat to the other one because the other one doesn't need any more heat. And now nice. It's closing up. Whoops, that was the clay I touched, which is fine. Alright, so I'm just going to lower the temperature, put it on standby. Alright, so I only have 2 more left. Next would be green, of course. So now you want to, that things are somewhat coming together. You want to make sure that they are twisted the way they should be, so that things can start to just, oh, sorry about that. Just gonna just sort of braid them a little bit better so that there's that tension. And, you know, there's no right, I guess there could be a right way or wrong way to braid or twist them. But for me, I'm doing it like this. If I had a thicker heat sink, I probably would, you know, you probably would have a, you would just be one solid connection and the one solid grip. So on that note, I might put some tape around it. All right, so next is green, and then heat, you know, like heat shrink it some more. Kind of like a shrink-a-dink. Okay, so now we're gonna put this one in. Voila. And you should see the metal wiring if you look closely. If I had the iPhone, you definitely you see the picture a little bit better. All right, so that's that. Oh, too late. Bummer. All right. See, I forgot. That's all right. I'll just double shrink wrap it. Because my plan is to actually put one of these on. Okay. And I wonder if you could pop one out, but I wouldn't pop one out. Once it's in, you know? Just leave it. And I'll just use one of the, I forget which one's a little bit thicker than the purple. Okay. Nice, but it is much more. And I think it'd be hard to get the other one in there anyway. So I'm going to have to sacrifice one. All right, so there's the black. And now the black one's going to go in. And oh, almost put it in upside down. Again, there's only one way it's going to let you put it in unless you jam it in there. It went in, and then you just use the tweezers that they gave you, and you push it in. Voila. And now, what you do is you shrink it, heat sink it, okay, and do like that. And then what you're going to do is just hold that, just put those in like that, and then crank it up. This one I have to crank up more, a little bit more, not a lot, but just enough to get the heat going on one side. See, that's what's tricky. Because the heat, remember, travels up, so it's kind of hard. That's why you need a heat gun, because the heat gun would just blast it where it needs to be blasted. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this out. Remember, it's the black one. There we are. Wow, that's hot. Really hot. Muy caliente. Okay. Kind of neat. All right, so that takes care of that. So now we know, right, that the closest one is actually going to be the ones that are like close like that are the ones that are going to be closest to the connectors. So let's say, for example, this one. So this one, it's not going to matter if it's long or short when it's heat sunk. So let's say now it should connect. There's only one way to put it in. Hold on. Oh, I see, it's upside down. Okay. So now it should go in. Yep. See? It went in. It went in, but it pushed one out, which is really weird. It pushed the red one out. So it's possible that the red one wasn't in all the way. So what you do is you pull it out and you take the tweezers that they gave you and you push it in, and then just double check it. Oh man, looks like the red one might be fair. But the red one was in, you saw me put it in. The only thing I forgot was the heat sink. But when I pushed it in, it was sort of protruding it out. Alright, so now we have that. And before we heat sink it, we want to make sure it works. So now I'm going to put this in. And this one's always going to stay in, you know? So the connectors go at the bottom, remember, right side up, upside down. So when you put it in, if the metal part's facing up, as you can see in the plastic, this part doesn't go like that. All right, so this part goes facing down, and then you put it in and pray they go in. Yep, they went in, except you see the red one keeps popping out, which is a bummer. It's not supposed to do that. Bam. Oh, and you see the red one is not, it's just not going in. It's possible that it's a dud. All right, so the red one, we're just gonna pull out and put back in again. Hopefully it lets us, okay? Why that happened, I don't know. I pushed it in with the tweezers correctly. It's incorrect. All right. All right, so now, let's see. Pulling it again. Make sure it's snug. Again, the metal is pointing to the sky, and then the metal is pointing to the sky. So metal up, right? So you can see those little connector thingies. And then, hopefully, actually, connector things go down, sorry. And then you push it in and pray. Nice, that one held. So now I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to shrink, heat shrink these so that this doesn't, you know, this is just be a much nicer connection. It doesn't come with the other one, so I actually have to. Oh no, I don't have here. Hold on, I have more from another kit. Because when I used to solder things with that thing back in the day, I used to use the heat sink because it would burn stuff. So I think I'm going to use purple because I think the purple one will fit everything in there. But before I use the purple, I'm going to take some of this tape. This is the tape that you use on the flight controller. I'm actually waiting for my motors to come. I have to fix the motors on my flight controller, so I had to tape them. This is the tape I was using to hold this together. But it'll work really well just to, if I can open it, just to wrap these wires to make it a little bit thicker so that the purple heatsink will fit right in. Or it's actually called heat shrink. You know, I call it heat sink, but heat shrink. Heat shrink too. Or you could be like me and call it heat shrink. Kind of like in the song. There's a song. I thought it was Move That Jacket, right? You got to move the jacket. And I was like, and then one day I was sitting in the car with my friend. And he's like, moves like Jagger. I'm like, oh, okay. I thought it was Move That Jacket. Ooh, I imagined someone, I was imagining someone at a party and doing the coat check. And that was my vision of how the video went. And then they were telling the guy at the coat check, he's got to move the jacket. Ooh, ooh. And then now I realized that it moves like Jagger. Spoiled it for me because all that time I was singing that song. But anyway, it's heat shrink. I should know because I used to do this back in the day. But, you know, as you get older, your memory goes. But you still remember how to fix stuff. All right, so now we have that. That's going to be like that. And then we'll put that like that. And then we want it, so what'll happen is we want the tube to be as long as the tape, otherwise it's not going to shrink. So let's say the same length, so that everything just closes properly. Okay, so we can make this a little bit shorter and just cut it. It'll cut like cheese. And if you have a board like this, you can't cut through the board. Of course, just gonna put this away. Always put the blades away, especially with kids around. All right. Nope. Make it a little bit shorter. Bummer. All right. Eventually you get it, and you hope it works. As long as you don't mess up, everything should work. And you know, just pick up the scraps later. Who knows? You might use the scraps for something else. So this side is going to be, yeah, there we go. Now we're talking. Now we got to try and start this thing up. All right, if it lets me. There we go. Voila. It started. It's like an old-fashioned soldering iron. Actually, this one's going to require more heat because it's a thicker heat sink. You know, heat sink, heat shrink, heat sinking missiles, but heat shrink, like a shrinky dink, basically. You know, except you don't put this in the oven. Actually, I need to turn this up some because it's just not. There we are. And turn it. Turn it. Turn it. So this is where the helping hands would come in, or a piece of clay. But then you won't be able to turn it. You have to take it off. But as you can see, it's working. Well, I guess I could turn it. Just got to be careful that it doesn't fall on it. You could just do like that. See, it's getting tighter and tighter. I just want it to be stronger because, as you know, pulling it in and taking it out, eventually you're going to have to build another one. But now that you know the name of it, you know, you can just maybe order. Maybe they have this to 4, right? You just need one with 4. Or, you know, as you get deeper and deeper into the hobby, you might need other. All right, so there it is. Oh, wow, that's pretty hot. You know, you might need other connectors. And as you can see, that's all right. The wires here, you know, you can either choose to heat shrink them or just run the tape over them so that they, that's pretty good. That's on there. So that, you know, they're just not loose like that, right? You decide what works best for you. For me, I don't know, I might put another heat shrink on, but that would mean taping all this. But let's see if it works, because you don't need to sit through all that. At least you know, now you know how to do one. But I think I might definitely do the other one, because remember, these wires are great, but again, when you pull them, they, you know, they break easily. But what we need to do is see if this actually works. Okay, some clay. This is just called plastilina. Any regular clay for sculpting. It's like $7 or something. Who knows? Maybe you'll take up sculpting after you crash all your drones. All right, so now we're just going to move all this out of the way so that we could put the computer here, because we're going to test it on the computer, and it's just too bad you can't buy that separately. There must be a, you know, I maybe I didn't look, but you know, part of FPV is being able to fix your stuff. All right, so then remember, this one's going to stay in on this side. I'm just going to make sure that this goes in so it'll never come out. I mean, it will come out like on some days, right? All right, so there you go. There you have it. a little bit enforced. We'll probably do that end later. Looks kind of cool. Maybe you could do another color over there. Thing for the blowtorch. And now, that's weird. Oh, I thought I left it on his shirt. I was actually these are the DJI mics, but they're okay. Audio comes in all right, but if you're recording it from the Action 4, you got to be careful because it eats up battery. And then next thing you know, you have great sound, and you got to go back and record because the all right, so here's the computer. So if your computer's on, that's fine. Sometimes you got to wake it up from when it goes to sleep, but everything should work. You should be able to take your USB-C cable. I just needed like a little bin to keep the cables in. And then we'll connect it to BetaFlight and see. So this will go here, right, into there. And then now the other one will go into the computer. And now, for the moment of truth, we will get the drone, or as they call it, the Pavo Pico, Paco. So now, and it's kind of cool that it's longer because it gives you just more flexibility, right? Just to play with. So here's the tricky part. So remember, if you have version 2 or version 1, this is version 1 because it's a nightmare to put this thing in, especially if you wear glasses. So you're probably like, put it in already. We can't. This is version 1. This was the first one when it must have been built by AI because how did this get past quality control or research and development without anyone saying, hey, what if we put the cable in there? Okay, this is the moment of truth. Where are the tweezers? I see light. Nice. You just want to make sure it's in. It's a little tricky if you ask me. Nice. And when it goes in, you want to watch with these things because you saw how before it was popping out. So, watch it when you put it in because if it pops out, then you're going to have to fix it. Okay? Meaning like just put it in and maybe you might take a double take. All right, so that's in. That's working. Look at that. GPS is on. This is there. Now let's go into the computer there. And I pray that the Osmos action, because there's nothing action happening, so it doesn't burn out. But look, we got our lights, right? We got our camera, and now we're waiting for the action. Let's load up. I wonder if I could say, open up BetaFlight. There was back in the day some voice commands. Okay, BetaFlight configurator. It's opening up. Alrighty. It took 45 minutes. And I didn't even take a break. Everything just flowed. Looks great. Hopefully it works up. BetaFlight configurator is still loading. On your computer, it may have loaded a little bit. There we are. All right, so we are connected. And what do you know? Look, watch. And as you can see, there's no lag in my up, down, left, right. Oh, wow. I have degrees and heading. Oh, and pitch. So this is pitch and roll. Yaw. That's presets. Nice, that loaded. PID tuning, yes, that loaded. And receiver and modes. And remember, if you have version 2 of the Pavo Pico, just delete the flip. And thanks to the viewer who actually shared that. Really appreciate it. Like, some of these videos wouldn't be possible without you guys. In the community that that you're all viewers, and if you have something to share that could benefit others, share it, because the only way to get the message out to the masses is through here in this channel. So again, delete the beeper and delete the flip that's inside the modes, and that'll help you, because apparently this doesn't flip and this doesn't beep. Sometimes you could hear the beep, 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 because when it connects, there's somewhere in there. I'll leave that for another video. But when you connect it via USB, it'll go beep, beep, beep. But I guess there's no need for that because it's going to drain the battery and you need to get up in the air. But if you like that, you can turn that on. That beep, beep. Maybe I'll turn it on next time. So yeah, that's it. We did it. And I hope this video helped you in fixing your connector to the USB-C thingy that goes inside your Pavo Pico, so that you can update your rates or your modes, etc. Before your new parts come. You know, because you might be able to find it ordered, but maybe you have the parts laying around and you just fix it. And eventually you start fixing your own stuff in the FPV world, or the Cinewoop, right? So on that note, like I said before, I hope this video helped you. Remember to like and subscribe. And if you have any ideas and suggestions for other videos, please leave them down below, and your comments too, because as you can see, they've helped others too. And I'll see you all next time.